pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Kylie, when we do roll call, everybody can say where they're at, being home or wherever. So Kylie. Is Kylie there?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yep.
I can
Okay.
now.
McKellar,
Here from home.
Mauser,
Here from home.
Gilman,
Here from home.
and Brown.
Here from home. All right. Looking for approval of the agenda.
Move to
I'll
approve
make a
the
motion that
agenda.
we approve the agenda.
Did you second that, Bill?
If Mark got there first, I'll second that.
Okay. Motion by Mark, seconded by Bill to approve the agenda as presented.
Did we
Kylie, we'll
have,
just do roll call on everything.
Sounds
did
good.
we have one item come in late?
Blue sheet.
Yes,
Yep.
We do have a blue sheet, yes.
Yes, we did have a blue sheet.
All right. My motion is to include the blue sheet.
Bill?
Yes. Blue sheet. included.
Okay. Okay, Kylie, roll call, please.
Mauser,
Yes.
Gilman,
Yes.
McKellar,
Yes.
and Brown.
Yes. Conflicts of interest. Any conflicts of interest tonight with any of the commissioners? Mark?
None.
Bill?
Done.
Jason?
Nope.
And Carl? None. Public comment. Kylie, would you like to read the rules, please?
Any person may make an advanced appointment with the board regarding road commission topics for a regular or special meeting in accordance with the Open Meetings Act. If an appointment is made, the topic will be an agenda item. The following applies to public comments. Please state his or her name and address. Topic must be relevant to the road commission. Individuals are allowed to speak once for up to 3 minutes on a single topic, which may be extended by the chair.
Hey, are you getting people that are?
A group addressing the board requires a designated spokesperson who may speak up to 10 minutes. The board will not act on any item from the public that is not on the agenda. For Zoom access users, if you wish to participate in public comment, please raise your hand through Zoom. For any call-ins,
Can you hear me when I talk?
we will unmute callers. If you wish to speak, say yes.
I'll try this. I'm gonna try and switch over to my hot here for see if what something's going on. All right.
Okay, we got somebody talking in the background, but Larry, you can check and see if there's anybody that would like to speak. And I guess it's 30 seconds that we have to allow here. Once that's up, then we will move on if nobody raises their hand.
Okay. At this time, I don't see any raised hands, but we'll wait our 30 seconds here. Okay, and no raised hands.
No raised hands. All right, we'll close the public comment. Item 6A, appointments. None tonight.
That was a blue sheet.
Blue sheet. Yeah.
That the blue sheet is an appointment.
Yes,
Okay.
for with Beta.
Okay, are they ready to speak?
Okay, I have a couple raised hands, Kelly Dunham and Doug Mansfield. I believe maybe they're with Beta. I'll allow them to speak here.
Kelly's with Beta,
Okay.
Doug's the engineer.
Okay, are we ready for that?
Yes, we are.
Okay, Kelly and Doug, you should be able to speak.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Great. Thank you so much for giving us a few minutes of your time this evening. I just wanted to draw attention to the fact that I am the executive director of Beta and I'm in attendance tonight, as well as Nicole Van Ness, our chairperson. We have individuals from Cunningham Limp, Beta's owner's representative on this project. And then Doug Mansfield is our civil engineer on the project, and he will present our request to you tonight. But just know that the rest of us are here to answer any questions, and we're very grateful for you granting us the time to review this development with us tonight. With that, I'll turn it over to Doug. Thank you.
Thanks, Kelly. Can everyone hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to try to go through this big project fairly fast, but this involves the northeast corner of the intersection of Hammond and Lafreniere. It is the last major parcel of the Lafreniere Trust. The entire piece is about 79 acres. The proposal that we're looking at between Beta and the TC Housing Commission involves about 50 acres on the west half, or about 45 acres there. So this is a planned unit development. It's a mixed use development. It involves a maintenance and storage and administration building to be located near the intersection of Lafreniere and Hammond. And then farther north on Lafreniere, towards the north end of the property, is some single family units, approximately 150 apartment units, a transfer station for Beta, and it also includes a daycare and a cafe. And that is near the last intersection to be improved of the Ridge 45 apartment project. Because this is a special use, it's a planned unit development allowed through a special use in Charter Township of Garfield, we're required to, very early on, to secure approvals from the various agencies involved. In such, when the conceptual design was done, I met with staff regarding the proposed intersections on the site. I'm going to go through those, I think, one by one. Each has their own issues with it, concerns, and we completely understand. Your staff has done a fine job representing the Road Commission's goals and objectives, but this is not always a utopian world. We're not always able to meet every guiding principle to the nth degree. So I'm going to start with the Hammond approach as shown on the plan. This is about 700 feet, 737 feet from the intersection of Lafreniere and Hammond and east of there, and you'll see that. Beta is seeking this approach onto Hammond, which will be the inlet and outlet for the buses. And we understand the access management principles for the arterial road. This property is bound and divided by headlands of the Mitchell Creek watershed, and it creates an envelope of development, and you'll see that hatch pattern on the drawing. So those are very critical headlands, very classic properties in this region, very protected. And I think we all have the same goals to protect our own natural habitat. In such, there is only one more upland piece until you get to the intersection of Garfield and Hammond Road that will be developed, along with the gas station that's been there at the intersection for some time. So the concern of the staff was to uphold your goals and objectives to not allow Hammond Road to turn into another South Airport Road, and we understand that. If this intersection, this driveway approach is a well beyond the safe distance from the light as provided by the AASHTO guidelines in the ordinance, Beta will provide, should you approve this location, any A-cell, D-cell, or improvements required to provide for a safe approach. And when we're looking at this and talking to Garfield Township, and I don't know if Chuck Horn was able, the supervisor was able to communicate with you. I reached out to him twice now. He said he would send a communication on their goals and their concerns with this approach. But there would only be 3, if this was granted, there'd only be 3 commercial driveway approaches onto Hammond Road on the north side. And there's only on the south side of this road here, there's only another 3 commercial approaches. So for there be a total of 6.
Doug, can you hang on for a second?
Yep.
Larry, can you move that agenda down so that the public can see what he's talking about? Because down at the lower part of that, there's a map down towards the bottom there. A little
Up a
higher,
little bit.
Yeah.
Up.
Actually down now. A little more.
Playing there.
You'll get her. Where the hell is it? There it is.
There.
I want you to understand that, and I appreciate that, Jason, thank you. That should you grant 2 more approaches on the north side of Hammond Road for the upland to service the upland grounds of this property, this 80 acres, there'd be a 6 driveway approaches from Lafreniere to Garfield on Hammond Road. I want to, in comparison, that same length of road, same distance of road on South Airport from Lafreniere to Garfield has 35 approaches on it. So in no way does anybody want to see that turn into that type of corridor, and this certainly wouldn't. This approach that will have a connecting fire lanes, which will allow fire trucks to circulate around the building. But the primary focus of this intersection is to allow the buses to go out in the morning. And that is done primarily before peak hour period. The drivers will be coming in around 6 o'clock in the morning. They'll be getting their buses ready and out on the road, hopefully by around 6:30. The buses will go out in a pattern of 4 to 5 buses at a time as they're checked for maintenance and released. About 65 to 75% of the buses will be turning right on the Hammond Road to go to the western and southwestern portions of the county. The remainders will serve the out county towards East Bay Township and the Fife Lake Kingsley area. And then during the day, the buses, the intervals will be for shift changes. And they're not regular, depending on how far the bus drivers are out. So there's no big fluctuation at any time during the day. And then the buses return to the storage and maintenance facility anywhere between 6 and 9 o'clock at night. So again, we're after peak hour. And that's the big concern on access management here. So that's that approach. And again, this is a primary focus of this proposal, and is to have that approach. It's very important to these people. But again, your staff has been trying to uphold the goals and objectives as best they can. So the next avenue is, of course, to bring it to the commissioners. When the other side of this, the admin building, bus storage and maintenance garage, is where the employees and the staff, both drivers, administration, mechanics, certain guests, I guess authorized guests would approach, and that's the parking lot to the western part of the site by the admin building. The primary focus of the Lafreniere is to provide not only access and entrance for those persons, it also provides a second access as required by Metro Fire for a building of this size. So the thought from staff, the concern from staff on this one is they would like have, first of all, it'd be the primary and only intersection for this development. It is some 300 feet from the intersection of Hammond Road and Lafreniere Road. That is within, but at the lower end of the threshold for AASHTO guidelines staff would like to have that intersection, that driveway approach some 460 feet, 1.5 football fields, I have to say, from the intersection. As you can see on the map, if we had to push that another 150 feet north on Lafreniere, that would mandate a wetland crossing, and staff said, go get a wetland crossing. To that end, I understand their goals and objectives about having stopping sight distance and the turning movements and from these type of driveway approaches to the intersections. However, again, you know, I have to say this is not in the engineering fields. It's always very safe to pick the highest end of the recommended guideline, but you're not always able to do that, and certain things like wetlands and things, you know, get in our way. So, and that's just the physical world we're in. Again, I have to offer, just in scale of things, we're looking at one driveway approach, a football field north of the intersection. If you were to take any of the surrounding approaches, such as the intersection of South Airport and Lafreniere, there are 14 commercial driveway approaches within 460 feet circle of that intersection. We're talking about one. And we look at Garfield and Hammond, the 2 gas stations have 4 approaches. Garfield and South Airport are 7 approaches. Even the intersection of Trade Center Drive and Alberg Road in front of the Road Commission doesn't meet the 460-foot guideline that the staff wants us to uphold. So again, if this is something we're going to have to uphold, I have to tell my client that we're going to need to go get a wetland permit. First thing Eagle is going to say is, what are your alternatives, and go back to the Road Commission and try to get a variance on that. So we're here tonight to have to discuss that approach. So I need that answer or question answered, as EQ is going to want that reference. And obviously, politically, having to push a road to service a fire and access to a development through the headlands of Mitchell Creek watershed isn't going to be real popular with some of our environmental consciousness in this town. And again, I'll say that that 300 feet is far and beyond any of the other surrounding intersections for the distance. But again, staff is just upholding what they feel you want them to do. The final intersection is at the north part of the property. It would be, and I must say, to the north of this is a proposed Lutheran church and school that's also been permitted, and we have pledged to work with them on a joint driveway. And that's good, and it may complicate things, as staff and I discussed. This would be across from the southernmost entrance of Lake Ridge 45 apartments. It's not improved as of yet, but it is not improved, it is approved as part of their PUD. That intersection on the eastern side will provide for the access to a cafe, a park and ride area, so that out county people can come into town, park, and then get on a bus. There is a daycare facility, and then you'll see the single family lots and the apartments, along with the priority use, which is a central county transfer station for Beta. And Beta's provides some numbers there. But our concern and staff concern at this location, they're good with the physical location. They like the joint use and working with the neighbors, and but it will be a busy, unsignalized intersection with all those uses, which are peak generators. Many of them are. As any of us who are parents or gone to get a cup of coffee in Traverse City recognize. So that one, they said they needed to have a study on, and there may be some physical improvements required that intersection to maintain its function. primarily we'll work through, we can subtract some uses, we can work with Garfield Township on enjoining another use into that intersection that's unsignalized. And understand that northern piece that involves the Housing Commission, that's going to be some time before that phase is reached. And I'm talking, in time flies, we know at this part of our lives, 5 to 10 years, probably before you'd see complete build out, the financing mechanisms and just the process involved. So the first part of that phase that would be built would be the transfer station. And you'll see that it provides for 6 buses there. So that's the project. And again, staff upheld their goals, their guidelines, their rules. And so it left us no choice but to come to you and seek variances. I know that's not a position you like to be put in. However, I have no choice. And I will say, with these types of goals and objectives laid out, guidelines that are now rules, being treated as rules by staff, you're going to see more requests at the board level for these type of variances. So we are submitting on December 3rd, this project to Garfield Township. In such, if we cannot make a decision tonight on some of these issues, we will probably be looking for some type of special meeting in the next month before the holidays, or some kind of direction from the road commission. So Carl and I had a discussion about this. I did reach out to him. And I know Carl did speak to staff also. So I don't know, at this point, I'll hand it back to Carl, unless Kelly, you think I missed something.
I think that's it, Doug.
Okay.
Well, at this point tonight, this is, being that you're on as an appointment, this is not a voting forum according to our agenda.
Okay.
So there would be no approval or denial tonight because of that.
Okay.
And I think this is the first shot that the other board members have had. I've talked to Wayne, myself. I think this is, the first time they have seen that. So I'm sure they're going to want to digest this a little bit anyway. So at this point, and this has not even went through Garfield planning yet for approval.
So no, how the PUD works, or the special use permit process is, we have probably about a 70%, 80% plan set on December 3rd. The introductory meeting will be held on January 13th. So between December 3rd and January 13th, I provide letters of at least schematic or preliminary approval from all the agencies, road commission, soil erosion, township engineers and such, by the 13th, by the introduction. So that's when I'd be looking at some kind of action on this. But these are big issues.
Well,
if I don't have an answer on Hammond Road and Lafreniere Road for this bus garage in the locations shown, those are kind of those are go, no go decisions for Beta. So sooner you can provide staff with direction on this, the better for everyone involved, because I'm sure the Lafreniere Trust, we have a deadline on our purchase agreement with Lafreniere Trust, and if they understand that they've got 80 acres that doesn't have access to Hammond Road after everything they've done, they're gonna probably be banging on your door too, guys. So I'm just telling you. So.
Well, the thing is here, it's kind of difficult for everybody to make an approval on a preliminary site plan that isn't even approved. So to me, it sounds like we got a little bit of the cart ahead of the horse here.
Well, the PUD works that way. And normally in any other time through the special use process, we would go to these agencies and they would say, for the location, for the general dimensions and features, they would provide a letter, and probably staff could provide you a sample of something like that. It says, subject to final permitting, we're good with working with the team on that location, and that's all we need.
Carl.
Yes,
I
go
just
ahead,
wanna-
Jason.
At the very least, I want to get some questions answered though, so that, you know,
Sure.
and I don't think it's a problem. We give a sense of where we might be at with this either. Okay. But Doug, I have a few questions. If you could just you know, briefly, is this going to be a replacement for the Cass Road, the Cass and South Airport Beta facility?
Kelly, can you answer that, please?
Yes, yep.
Okay, so that's going to be a changed use at Cass and South Airport Road, so we can kind of file that in the back of our head,
Mhm.
because you guys would probably decommission and that property would go for another use, I suspect. Am I correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Number two, when we're looking at the West Drive,
Mhm.
all right, and obviously it's a little difficult mitigating the wetlands problems, and I want to talk about that in a second too. But so your football field away from the intersection, and I understand that our staff is kind of like, well, we'd like you further because of the speed, basically because of the speed limit of the road and whatnot. Let me ask you this: is Garfield Township requiring trees near there? In other words, for like limited sight, so people can see buses pulling out, et cetera.
No,
so on and so
they
forth.
don't have a prescribed landscape buffer, Jason, like they do in some of the other areas of the
Okay.
township.
Okay, and those are the kind of things that, you know,
Mhm.
when we're considering these things, because if we can see the stuff coming out,
Right.
that may become less of a problem. As far as the joint drive in the future, potentially, at that point, you're still going to require some kind of wetlands mitigation. As you say, it probably
Mhm.
complicates, it recomplicates it perhaps at that time.
Right.
And I wonder, from our staff, you know, we have for the purposes of the road commission, we do have wetlands mitigation strategies, and I'm not sure that that would be appropriate there unless it's somewhat in our right of way, or I don't know if staff could answer this. Could we get some of that sold and the money can be put back in so that there's really no loss to there's a fund that actually buys and sells, so
Mhm.
wetland mitigation. The thing is, it would serve our purposes better if the driveway could be brought further and make staff happy, of course, and satisfy their requirements for that distance. And I guess beyond that, I personally, I like the plan. You know, the southern drive, or the Hammond side drive is certainly far enough back from the intersection. We don't have a lot of curb cuts. Even the west. I mean, you know, this is definitely not South Airport, as you put it. So, you know, it's a clean. It looks like a clean use. And if that Western Drive situation can be figured out for sure, and see how critical that is, I wouldn't have any problem personally as a road commissioner.
Thank you.
I've got a question.
Anyone else?
This is Bill. Can you hear me?
Go ahead, Bill.
Yeah, I mean, it looks to me, looking at this site plan, that the driveway 301 feet off of Hammond is going into the administration area. That would be just, I guess, for clarification, what I see here. That would be not bus parking, but that would be staff and employees and visitors. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, so the buses are coming out 700 feet off of Hammond, and that's where all the buses are coming and going.
Correct.
Okay, just for clarity. And where you were talking about co-joining, I guess, with the church, that's 1,200 feet down north, I guess. And that's,
Correct.
we don't see that. We don't see who the church is. We just see the Beta property
Right.
and I guess the 7 little brown squares there are buses at a transfer station. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that would be transfer station buses only, and whoever residents of that housing is there. So we got 3 different driveways, 3 different distinct purposes.
Correct.
I'm done.
Is that it, Bill?
That's it.
Mark, anything?
Nope.
No? Okay, well, like I said, tonight, Doug, we're not going to be able to make any decision tonight. And I think that maybe commissioners should talk to staff too on their views on this. And then if we have to have a special meeting, I guess in December, that's what we'll do to discuss it further.
Well, we already are going to have a special meeting for budget anyway. So
Okay.
why don't we just put that on the same agenda?
That would be fine. Okay, Doug?
I want to thank everyone very much, and I appreciate your cruise out being tonight, and I wish you all a very happy Thanksgiving.
Thanks, Doug.
Thanks,
Yep.
Doug.
Thank you.
Okay. Moving back to the agenda, consent calendar.
The consent calendar, can you hear me?
Yep, go ahead,
Yeah.
Kylie.
Sorry. The consent calendar is used to expedite business by grouping non-controversial items together without discussion. Requests by any person present to remove any item from the consent calendar for full discussion as agenda items are automatically respected. The action noted in parentheses for all the items remaining on the consent calendar are approved by a single commission action adopting the consent calendar. The manager recommends the following items be adopted. 1, minutes. 2, payroll. 3, accounts payable. 4, financial reports, and 5, reports and communications.
Okay, I'm looking for approval of the consent calendar.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Jason, seconded by Mark to approve the consent calendar. Are there any items any member of the board would like pulled? Hearing none. Anyone from the public, any item that they would like pulled? And Larry, this will be you if somebody raises their hand. And we'll do the 30 seconds.
Okay, starting now. And I don't see any raised hands quite yet, but let's wait our 30 seconds. And still no hands.
Okay. Kylie, we'll do a roll call, please.
Gilman,
Yes.
McKellar,
Yes.
Mauser,
Yes.
and Brown.
Yes. Okay. Item D, cost participation agreement for Walton Road. This is Wayne. I guess you're going to speak to this?
Yes, sir. This is the standard MDOT cost participation agreement. This is for the Walton Road. The Blackman Road easterly went to approximately 100 foot west of the railroad tracks. That's approximately 4.35 miles. This project will have 81.85% federal surface transportation funds, and we'll also be using our state D funds at 18.15%. Those funds are capped at the maximum that we have allowable to us of $138,949.30. So approximately our local share, based on the estimates that came in, we'll have a local share of approximately 140,000 on this project. That pretty much sums that up.
So you're looking for approval to proceed with that project, I'm assuming?
Correct. And this would require your signature and the clerk's signature, electronic signatures. And MDOT is awaiting this contract, and the contractor has everything in place and are awaiting approvals.
I would move that we authorize this agreement.
I'll support it. Second.
Motion by Jason, seconded by Bill to approve the Walton Road participation agreement. Roll call, Kylie. And unless somebody has some further discussion. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Go ahead, Kylie.
Sorry, I got Ron Roloff raising his hand. Do we-
Okay.
Okay, hold on a second here, Ron. Okay, go ahead, Ron. Ron, you gotta unmute yourself.
Are you sure he wanted to? I mean,
Maybe not.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Sorry.
Kylie, let's do a roll call, please.
McKellar,
Yes.
Mauser,
Yes,
Gilman,
Yes,
and Brown.
Yes. Neotawana Road. Looks like this is Joe there, or is this Joe and Wayne, or just gonna be Wayne?
This is going to be Jay.
Or
And
Jay, okay.
Yep. I'm not sure if Jay is on board. I'm not seeing him.
no, I think he left it to you, Wayne.
Oh, awesome. He's a good guy. No, and Jay is doing a fantastic job. We work a lot, work very close. So we had Neotawana Road culvert. We had some failures along the shoulders of the road at the ends of the culverts. And our forces were addressing those. We had the Conservancy had a permit to eliminate some beaver dams upstream, and it got away from them. A massive amount of water came down and proceeded to top the road, proceeded to kind of blow out our culvert. It destroyed the fixes we had, so it left a pretty good gaping hole in our culvert there. So we had to move forward with an emergency repair replacement. We got that all set into place. Our crews worked with Elmer's Crane and Dozer to facilitate that, and we had a $16,595 for that, then plus the additional 5,000 to 6,000 for culvert work, additional culvert work, and then detour signing up there take place.
And I'm assuming we have already done this work.
This has been accomplished and the road is back open, correct?
Okay, so we just, and I think everybody was aware that, I think Brad had sent out info to everybody that some of this stuff was going to get put through because of the situations and the road closed before we could even have a meeting. So the only other question I had on this was, are we going to try and recoup this money on this particular culvert?
Brad, I don't know if you wanted to address that, but.
We are working to get an idea if we can find some sort of solution. I think they may be willing to, because they did admit right away that there was an issue, but we still need to have a discussion with them. And we had a lot of other issues going on in the area. Part of the problem is that culvert had already given way for the most part. We knew it needed to be repaired. It just happened on an emergency basis. So if we were to go after them, we would go after them for the additional cost of getting somebody out there like immediately, as opposed to waiting until we could do it on a scheduled basis.
the question
Okay,
is, do
so-
they have insurance?
That's what we're still waiting to find out from them.
Also, the other thing, is this not within your discretionary? I mean, it's under $25,000.
Mine is 15.
Is it 15?
Yeah,
We do.
Yeah, we're just over it, Jason.
All right.
So,
I should
All
note
right,
that it's
so-
the first of many for Peninsula too.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so I guess if we, even if it is the, the extra cost for the emergency work, I would think that, we should try and pursue some of that, if that's possible. But I guess at this point, I'm looking for approval to okay this project, even though it's already done. I think we go through there because it was an expenditure that was made.
Move to authorize the purchasing.
I'll support that.
Motion by Jason, seconded by Bill, to approve the Neotawana Road culvert replacement. If anybody has anything further to add to that, you have time right now. If not, Kylie will do a roll call. Kylie?
Mauser,
Yes.
Gilman.
Yep.
McKellar,
Yes.
and Brown.
Yes. Item F, Peninsula Drive.
Okay.
Brad, I think
Yeah.
this one's you.
I'm going to take these kind of all as a group and go through exactly what happened. This is all from that last board meeting we had where we had that 6 inches of rain overnight. And we had several locations that failed. The first one is on Peninsula Drive. It's actually 2 locations that were very close together. We knew about the one immediately, and then somebody pointed out, hey, there's another one over here. So we had 2 of them that needed to be fixed on Peninsula at that point. Both of those were covered by Milan, and they were done for $24,176.50. The next one that we had was up on M72. This is simply a pass-through. We have to make the payment, but then MDOT will reimburse us for it because it is their road and they had a slope failure. And the low on that was Elmer's, and they were $24,750. The next one is up on M37, a slope failure repair. This is actually one that happened earlier in the year, and they had not got us some invoices for a while, but this is again a pass-through simply with MDOT, and it was done for $42,485, and it was simply just again a pass-through for MDOT. We also then had another repair up by Milan for $43,000, which is yet another pass through for work that was done by Milan this time for MDOT on M37. These are areas that have failed in the past. So before we entertain the potential of taking on this stretch of road, we need to have some assurances built in that it's not going to keep failing like this. One of these locations, Joe was out on, he said in the past, and they've seen there are several slides that have occurred in this area. And then the last one, which I don't believe made it to this, I think it's on the blue sheet, if I'm not mistaken, which I do not have quite in front of me right now. But we had an additional, no, it did not make it, but we do have an additional one that I would like to add for another failure that occurred with this erosion. And then that is with Milan for 24, oh, maybe I'm in the wrong spot, sorry, this one is Elmer's for 22,000. This is the paper birch wedging, sorry, my bad on that. We had a wedging, we did a small project. While we were out there, we did a little more than we anticipated because as we started doing this small project, some of the additional road that we were working on started to fall apart. So we have one more that comes in as J. This is not an erosion related, but it is a repair that we did part of our small projects list. And this is the only one that we had that exceeded 15,000 this year, and it was 22,465.25. So we did accomplish a good number of those small projects this year, and most of them were very small to, you know, up near 15, but this is the only one that exceeded 15, and that's only because as we were doing it, additional pavement around the area started to disintegrate, so we fixed all of it at the same time. So now
Okay.
I would like to
Hey, Brad, I just want to note on
Oh.
item H. Hey,
Yeah.
This is Phil. Item H was actually Elmer's and not Molon. I just want to state that for the record.
Item H,
Yes, it is. Sorry, H was Milan,
Was
or was
Elmer's.
Elmer's, not Milan. My invoice shows Elmer's, but apparently we kept going with Milan on that one and missed it. So that should be changed to Elmer's. We'll make sure it's changed in the minute.
Absolutely.
okay. I'm looking at this and basically two of them were Penn Drive and Paper Birch were basically our costs. The other two are the other three, excuse me, are reimbursements to the state, from the state. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Um,
Carl,
Go ahead.
I'd make a motion that we approve the expenditures for Peninsula and White Birch
Paper Birch.
together.
Correct.
Paper Birch.
I agree, Mark.
Paper Birch, yep.
Support
Are
that.
you making that motion?
Yes, sir.
And Bill, are you?
I'll support it, sure.
Okay. Any further discussion on that? Motion by Mark, seconded by Bill to approve the expenditures on Peninsula Drive and Paper Birch per the numbers supplied by staff. Kylie, roll call, please.
Gilman,
Yes.
McKellar,
Yes.
and Mauser.
Yes,
Brown.
Yes. And now we could do the three MDOTs.
Sure. I'll make a motion that we approve the pass-through payments for M72, M37, and Center Road, M37 for repair.
I'll support the pass-through to MDOT on those three projects.
Okay, motion by Mark, seconded by Bill to approve the pass-through, the three MDOT ones out on the peninsula. Any further discussion? Kylie?
McKellar,
Yes.
Mauser,
Yes, and send them a bottle of Windex too, so you can see how transparent they are.
Gilman,
Yes.
and Brown.
Yes, and I will state that the M72 one is not on the peninsula. And I do know that. That's not where that was. 72 is not on the peninsula.
2/3 of a bottle of Windex.
All righty. It looks like we have come on to item number 7, informational items. Discussion item is the Boardman River Corridor Focused Pell proposed schedule. Wayne.
Yes, thank you, Commissioner Brown. And so in our in staff's endeavor to keep you up to date on the Boardman River Corridor Focus Pell, you see in front of you, thanks Larry for putting up the new Gantt chart with the dates, and this is effective after the kickoff meeting there on September 11th. So what we have accomplished in the past month, OHM has completed the field investigation and the biologic features in the river basin. That's with the intention of identifying the different constraints that's needed to determine where a potential alignment would go. There are several wetlands identified varying in quality. There's some very high quality woodland features found and some high quality animal habitats. That's the Masaga rattlesnake area that's been identified. Now, these preliminary findings have been shared with Road Commission staff and Commissioner Mauser as well as being a member of our team on these. Then we shared this information with our resource agencies, U.S. Fish and Wildlife, Eagle, and MDNR, because they're going to be ultimately having the official comments on these as we go forward, and if permits are necessary to be issued. Now, this is done also to give agencies a heads up, and we're doing this very early look at the project and its goals to be able to solicit their early input. Early input's going to help us to select the potential alternative routes through the study area. The team's also preparing to enter public engagement portions on the project. On Wednesday, on the 18th, we had our first local agency group meetings that was held virtually. This meeting is going to be followed up with a first stakeholders meeting and then a first public meeting. Our first series of the public engagement meetings is intended to reintroduce the project and provide the brief history, and then identify the project goals, purpose and need, and also then to be indicating where some of the preliminary constraints have been found. Following our first round of public engagement meetings, then the team's going to be beginning the alternatives assessment portion of the project based on the purpose and need, with a focus on maximizing the benefit and minimizing the impact to the environmental features identified as the constraints. And that is my update.
Any questions for Wayne? Hearing none. Thank you, Wayne.
Thank you.
Okay, Brad, manager's comments.
Okay, we have a few things. We are going to be needing to schedule a special meeting to talk budget. We are wrapping up the budget amendments with Phil, and then we will be finishing out to get our numbers in place for what we need for next year. A lot of projects have been slid forward into the next year already, including the Kingsley facility and a few others with the bridges and the Walton Road that we originally were talking about. So we're trying to get all that together so that we'd like to have a special board meeting. We'd like to have it about a week at least before the regular board meeting so that we can take comments from the commissioners and then, if need be, make changes to it before we have the public hearing on it. If that works for you, Kylie would be able to set that up and get everybody up to speed so that we can move forward into the budgetary discussion sometime in, and I don't remember the exact date, I believe it was the 10th or thereabouts of December. So that is one thing, and I don't know where you stand on that, but we are looking, because it is the 17th is our regular board meeting, because the 24th would be Christmas Eve, obviously. So we'd like to do it sometime in that week between the 7th and the 11th, if possible.
I have no problem with just about any date. So let this be on the other commissioners as far as setting the time. I can make it work.
Same as you, Jason. So Mark and Bill?
Don't care, pick one.
I'd
Mark?
pick one too.
Okay.
9th or the 10th?
Wednesday or Thursday, and then do you want to start it at 6 or do you want to start it at 7?
I can do either. Whatever works better for anybody else.
6 works. If we can get her out early, that's good.
Okay.
Okay. So let's
The
go
9th
the
on-
9th.
9th
At
at
6
6 o'clock. Yep. The 9th at 6 o'clock. And Kylie, you'll send
Kylie?
everybody out invite for that?
I will do so.
Okay.
Okay. And as I was saying, we did have a lot of erosion. We are starting to find more and more inland erosion issues that we have due to the large quantity of rains that are falling all at once. We also have some concerns being raised by some of the inland lake people now that it's rising and they expect us to somehow magically make the water move out, but we can't find a solution. Just so you know, though, they expect us to do something to increase the size of culverts. It's not a culvert issue, it's the level of the water, and there's just not enough flow off from these anymore to get out to the Great Lakes. We have started this the process for the coastal engineer. We are working to get a bid in from them. It is going to be a lot more than the $15,000 that was originally approved. The people from the Mallard Creek Homeowners Association received a bid for $65,000 for their small piece to have it done with engineering. So we are going to be getting that back, at which point we will review it. And if anybody is interested in coming in to talk about it before we actually make decisions, we can do that also. But it is going to be a lot more than the $15,000 to get a coastal engineer in, and it is going to be a time-consuming process. Right now, the only grant we were able to find does not apply to road projects. It only applies to shoreline restoration. And so we are not able to use that grant at this point. I have heard some discussion that CRA is now making the push again, that they are working to try and find some funds out of the general funds or other funds that the state has available to potentially direct into it. The cost of repairs in the Great Lake region was originally estimated somewhere around 130 million, and their guess right now is it's over 200 million. A lot of roads have been abandoned because they just cannot be fixed. So that is something we're still working on, and we will continue to make progress. We should, like I say, have the RFPs back in. Joe, do you have what date that is? I'm sorry. Are you on, or Wayne, what was the date it's due?
I should be able to find it real quick here.
Okay. Yeah, because they have sent this out, and it's a phased approach so that we have the opportunity to deal with it however the commissioners wish, whether or not we're going to make, stage the repairs, whether or not we're going to get some money available from the state and make a massive repair, or whether or not it's something that we just have to make stopgap measures and put it out over the course of several years till money can be located.
Brad, for your information, we gave them till December 11th.
Okay. So we will have some time after that before the final budget comes back to you on the 17th. And as soon as we have them in, we will send out information about what the ballpark costs are and what we're talking about. So you have it in the packet for the 17th.
Okay.
And that
Anything?
is all I have right now.
Okay. Commissioners' comments. Bill, anything?
No.
Jason?
Yeah, just a couple of things. First of all, I want to kind of give Kylie a shout out. She does some great minutes. It captures kind of the spirit of the meeting, and I like a complete minutes like she's been doing, and I just want to pass that along. I also want to just offer everybody a happy Thanksgiving. It's been a crazy year, but we do have a lot to be thankful for. And as far as the road commission goes, we got our millage passed. We're going to be able to continue doing great work, and that's good for our community.
Okay, Mark?
Yeah, Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Bill, I have a pile of signs that I need to give to you. Probably drive them out to your house.
I've got my own pile, thank you.
Yeah, well, I don't need them here anymore because I will not be a road commissioner at the end of the year. They had their meetings today and I did not make it through to the next round. It's nothing short of a miracle. On December 2nd, they're going to make their 2 recommendations and then the appointments then will follow. So I just wanted to say to the staff and to the fellow commissioners that it's been a pleasure to meet and work with all of you. I think that we have accomplished tremendous things. I know that in the decade that I served, you know, it was challenging, COVID aside, and you know, we took the place from teetering to where it's at today, and I know it's in good hands. So I will support you guys in the future, and I wish you all the best of luck. And I'll likely be in the special meeting and then the meeting in December, and that'll be it. Okay. So I just wanted to say thank you, and it was my pleasure.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Mark. Again, I'll do like Jason said, you know, it has been a unique year. We've had our challenges weather-wise, health-wise, and everything else. And I think as an organization, from the top to the bottom, everybody included, you know, I couldn't be happier with how we've maintained so well. You know, I know it's been a challenge for the guys in the field with all the emergency repairs and everything. It's been a challenge for staff keeping up on the COVID mandates and that. And you know, and I know it's distracted people from a lot of their normal work, but I think we've held up very well. And to Mark, you know, you will be missed off the board. You know, you're a key part of this. You have been for 10 years. And you know, like you said, short of a miracle, but miracles do happen. So anyway, I think that's it. I hope everybody does have a very, very happy Thanksgiving. And like Jason said too, we all have plenty to be thankful for. It's easy to look at the negatives, but we all have our positives. So I hope everybody does have a very, very good Thanksgiving. So we will open this up to our second public comment.
One last thing, Carl.
Sure. Absolutely.
We did not put it on the agenda at this point, but we were going to finalize my review at some point. Would you like that on the special meeting or the budgetary meeting, or which?
We're starting 6 at the special meeting.
Well, let's put it on the budget one. Go ahead, Jason.
I think we should have it on the, if we're starting 6 for the special meeting, it gives us a little more time anyway. And also then when we go forward with the budget, that helps to finalize that.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so Kylie can put it on the agenda there too. All right.
Yep.
Okay, public comment, the second one for the evening. Larry?
I don't see raised hands quite yet. We'll wait a little bit here. Okay, I don't see any.
Don't see any? Okay. Nope. Okay, and according to our remote thing, when we do adjourn here, we do have to do a roll call, Kylie.
Okay.
Move to adjourn.
Okay. I was waiting. I'll support that. Okay, Kylie.
Bowser,
Yes.
Gilman,
Yes.
McKellar,
Yes.
and Brown.
Yes. Everyone have a good evening.
All right.
Happy Thanksgiving.